Welcome back for another video. In today's video we'll be looking at the top 100 greatest ever FPL managers, including their team selections, player ownership, transfer plans and more. As usual, we connected with one of the managers, and this week's manager answers some questions including his Gameweek 7 transfers, his plans for Ronaldo and which players are top of his watch list. If you want to keep up with what the greatest ever FPL managers are doing this season, make sure you're subscribed and give today's video a like. If you'd like to support the channel further, links to both my Patreon and YouTube membership are in the description. Enjoy the video. With the many millions of FPL managers, just barely 100 meet the criteria to join our list. The criteria to join this list is a minimum of 4 top 1k finishes or a minimum of 7 top 10k finishes. They are undisputably the greatest managers to have ever played the game, with a record to prove it. Their decision making, planning and understanding of the game is exceptional. We call them the Elite 100. That said, there's actually slightly more than 100, but to keep it simple, we'll mostly use percentages when going through their teams and moves. Let's start off with the Elite 100's team selections. By aggregating all of their teams together, we can arrive at a consensus team, which is a full squad of 15 players that they agree on having the most. One reasonable conclusion you could draw is that the higher percentage a player has, the more you should consider owning them. The Elite 100 template team is as follows. 5 changes to the template team this game week. Sarr from Wolves drops out in goal and is replaced by Ben Foster, who played in Gameweek 5 and 6 due to Backerman carrying an injury. Ben White and Marcel also drop out the defence, and in comes Livramento and Digne. Livramento continues to impress and is a great budget enabler for any team. He started all 6 games for the Saints since arriving. Digne creeps back into the team after leaving in Gameweek 5. He had the great fixture against Norwich, so you can understand why some managers fancied rolling the dice, especially with Norwich being worse through XG so far this season. Digne did indeed go on to keep a clean sheet, but no attacking returns. Last week we discussed how Greenwood may lose his spot in the team imminently, and that's exactly what happened, with Sarr replacing him with 44.6% ownership. Greenwood blanked while Sarr scored, so a move that they got spot on in Gameweek 6. Jota is another player whose ownership has dropped since the last video. However, he scored against Brentford and could have had more. That said, he faces Man City next, and with Firmino returning, his safety is less assured. Klopp did bring Firmino on for Curtis Jones, which meant all 4 of Salah, Mane, Jota and Firmino were on the pitch. However, it's less likely we see all 4 playing at the same time against a side like Man City next. Bamford has left the template team, and in comes Antonio with a huge 87.5% ownership. Again, Antonio scored, so another great transfer and an 8-point swing already. Luke Shaw had a disappointing game week, going off injured early, and having been booked already, he finished on 0 points. You'd imagine he'll drop out of the team, with Man United's fixture turning unfavourably. Who do you think they'll be looking to pick up? Perhaps with Chelsea's upcoming fixtures, they'll be looking there for a replacement, and we'll see who they get on next week's episode. Heading into Gameweek 6, here's their transfer activity. Later in the video we'll look at exactly which players were most bought and sold, and in the interview with one of the Elite 100 managers they revealed which players they've got their eye on. Nothing too wild this week after last game week's -8s and -12s. 26% of managers saved their transfer and 64% made use of their free transfers. A tenth of them took a -4 hit. Before we take a look at the transfers they made, this week we caught up with James Bailey from the Elite 100. He has 7 top 10k finishes, including the best rank of 105th. In 15 years playing, his average rank is 23k. He's had another strong start to the season, ranked 90k heading into Gameweek 6. Here's what he had to say. The first question was, what are your transfer plans for Gameweek 7? He said, I'm planning Ayling to Rudiger or Alonso, depending on the Chelsea team on Wednesday night. The next question was, what's your plan with Ronaldo? He said, I'm planning to wildcard in Gameweek 8 with no Ronaldo. I don't like both premium strikers, Ronaldo and Lukaku, there's just not enough value. And the final question was, which players are top of your watch list? And he said, for the wildcard, I'm going Lukaku, Antonio, plus a mid-priced forward. Not sure who yet, but Armstrong, Tony and St Maximin are on the watch list, someone like that. In the midfield it'll be Salah, Rafinha and a couple of mid-priced midfielders. Gallagher and Decore, that sort of range. The biggest takeaway, not just from James's answers but in past interviews, is that now is the time to jump on Chelsea assets. They've got the best run of fixtures in the league now, and the sooner you get their players in, the further you are ahead of the curve. The other takeaway was James's point on there not being enough value in both Ronaldo and Lukaku. We've seen budget players perform just as well, if not better. For example, over the last 3 game weeks, both Saar and Ronaldo have 3 goals, while Saar is less than half the cost. Likewise, up top, players like Antonio are better value. A quick look at the chip usage among the Elite 100 next. 2% of managers activated their wildcard for Gameweek 6, and overall less than a half have their wildcard left. Interestingly, a single manager activated their free hit for Gameweek 6. Free hits very commonly saved for blanks and double game weeks, neither of which we've had yet, and it's too early to say how they'll shape up later in the season. They might come unstuck at some point, having used that chip already. No triple captaincies yet, which we fully expect to be saved for the double game weeks, and the same can be said for the bench boost, although a few managers did surprise us by using it in Game Week 1. Onto the Elite 100's transfers. As you can probably imagine, the most popular move was selling Bamford, who missed Game Week 6, and the replacement being Antonio. 19 managers made that change and capitalised on an instant return. 17 moved Torres on for Saar. Torres didn't make an appearance in Game Week 5 or 6, so definite logic in that move, and Saar scored against Newcastle, plus got 2 bonus for a 9-point game week. 4 managers opted for Jimenez as their Bamford replacement, perhaps having already owned Antonio, or back in the great run of games Wolves have all the way to Game Week 14. This game week is a great example of how good their decision making is, if you look at the players who were sold and the players who were brought in. A few videos back, Sir Maximin was someone that Mark Mansfield from the Elite 100 recommended in his interview, and he's returned in every game week since, and has only blanked in 1 game all season now. A lot of Newcastle's attack goes through him, especially while Wilson's been out, and his finishing has improved this season. Onto the Elite 100's current season performance. Their ranks are categorised into 4 areas: top 10k, top 100k, top 1 mil, and outside top 1 mil. The breakdown is as follows. In the last video, 19% were in the top 100k, which has risen to 22.6%. If they can continue to show their elite consistency, then as this series develops, we should see those ranked poorly slowly bleed into the top 100k and top 10k. The top manager is now Paul Marshman, who is up to 1,325th in the world. A few other managers have crept into the top 5k with him, so they're already starting to make up the ground. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on what the very best of the best are up to. For now, that concludes this video on the Elite 100. We'll continue to monitor them closely throughout the season. Thank you to James for taking the time to answer the questions. Likewise, thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, please remember to like the video and hit subscribe to support the channel. I read every comment, so let me know if you liked the video and what you thought of the Elite 100's teams.